Hi there, it's Lisa. Thank you for joining me today. I am going to be making a scrapbooking page today. I am using the contents from the July Lollipop Box Club. I've got some scraps and odds and ends that I've got left over from my kit here. That's what I'm going to be using. I am the owner of Lollipop Box Club. I will leave the link below so you can take a look. I am going to be scrapbooking a photo of my daughter today. It was her 17th birthday a couple of weeks ago. I have got a piece of white 12 by 12 cardstock here, and I've also got a couple of the printables from the July Lollipop Box Club kit. They are included within the kit, but as a subscriber you also get a code so you can download these for free and print off as many times as you wish. If you aren't a subscriber, you can still download them, and they're just £1, and that's for all three. There's a third one to the set as well here, but I'm not using that today. I am going to start off with this piece here, and I'm going to be attaching the photo. I'm going to trim it down slightly as I don't need all of this. So let's trim this down, and I'm going to be using this. I did just have the idea, each kit comes with a treat bag. I'm going to take out the contents, and I think I might actually use the bag as well. I'm going to cut this down here to open it up. And it gives me a larger piece of paper then. And I'm going to trim this and use it behind my photograph. I've trimmed the bag down. I'm not sure where everything's going yet, so I haven't stuck it down. I'm also going to be trimming down the to-do list and taking these off as well and cutting them out to attach to the layout as well. I've trimmed it off. I've decided I want to create a painted background, so I'm just going to mark off roughly where I can go to with my paints. I don't want a whole page full, so I've just done some pencil marks. That then leaves enough white space around the outside, so I know not to go beyond that. I'm going to start by applying some Kaiser colour, this pink acrylic paint, to my layout. Just got a little bit on a bit of a credit card. I do this quite a lot. If you've seen some of my other videos, you will see me doing this. It's my favourite way to apply paint. Obviously the majority of the middle part will actually be covered with papers and the photograph, etc. So it is mainly just the outside. The cardboard that I'm actually doing this on is quite worn. I've used it to paint on over the years, as you can see. So it's quite nice actually. You pick up some of the texture from underneath, and I also like reusing my credit cards, as there's always, as you can see, paint from previous projects, and you kind of get surprise bits coming out on the page, which I really like. I like those unplanned bits of colour. I'm going to add a small amount of green. I really don't want too much, just a tiny amount. Just almost like a little bit of a highlight. There we go, that will do. I don't want, oops, that's overflowed. I don't want too much colour. Applying it that way, the great thing is that you don't have thick amounts of paint that need drying. There's a few sort of larger pieces there, but it does dry really fast. Next thing I'm going to do in the subscribers kits, there's a couple of doilies. I am going to use these as stencils. I'm going to lay them in place. I'm going to quickly dry this off first, and then I'm going to use a mist. I've just dried off the paint, so it's quite dry, and I've got my distress stain here. This is tumbled glass. It's a Ranger spray, and I'm just going to go over really lightly, and you just get a little effect there. And again, can you see the effect of the doily there? I quite like that. I've got my trimmed down hello piece of paper here. I am just adding the double-sided sticky tape in the center, then that way I can add extra bits and pieces. I can't remember exactly where I wanted this. Let's pop that there, and I also am going to add just a bit again in the center, then that way I can reposition it. Let's pop that there, and I think we'll slide that. In fact, I am going to trim this, or actually cut it out with this craft knife. I'm going to trim the piece here, and I'm hoping that will then slide under, stuck in place. Yeah, let's stick that down. Okay, I'm going to keep that like that. I quite like that. And I wanted to add these as well for the to go by the photographs. I really like that blue. I like my pages to be nice and colourful. These were the bits from the paper bag. Not quite sure yet how much I'm adding. Okay, that helps me out. Let's add a little bit there. I want to be able to see it above the photograph. I like that I've got the join there. I purposely have kept that in. Just add something a little bit different. Let's give a little bit of a gap like that. And I want to be able to see that, yeah, top and bottom. Brilliant. The photo can now also be stuck on. And then I can trim these off on the side. I'm going to have one slightly longer than the other. Actually, do you know what I could do? Could turn these into flags, couldn't we? There we go. Let's add a little bit of tape on the back to secure. Okay. And I might even cut a little bit more out actually. I'll see how that goes. Maybe add another one at the top. The other thing I wanted to do was to distress the top just a little bit and cut that through a little bit to tear. And I've got some of the doily that's left over here. I was going to attach that so that the doily can be seen through underneath. Let's just trim. I've just trimmed a little bit off, and I'm going to stick that down. There we go, so that you can see that through. Okay, and I might do that along the bottom as well actually, on the other side. A little bit more. And just a small amount this time, I don't want too much. There we go, it's just a small amount there peeping through. I've also got a few other bits and pieces from the kit. Let's cut a piece of the fabric washi tape off, and I'm going to use that on the top of my to-do list as if it's being held in place. Might do a bottom one as well actually. Let's cut that off. I quite like this fabric washi tape, it's got a really nice texture to it. And that will go on the bottom. Now I also wanted to add this flower. I might actually add half a flower, I think, and pop that there. Colours I'm not 100% on, so I am now going to paint this. I'm going to paint it white to start with, and then I will see. I haven't decided what colour I want it to be next, so but by painting it white, that then obviously gives me lots of opportunities to do with it whatever I choose. Let's move the doily out the way, and I will paint that and leave it to one side. I've taken one of the 6x6 pieces of cardstock from the kit and I've cut it into thin strips, and I'm going to use this as a little bit of a border around this piece here. I'm just going to stick it on with some PVA glue and go around the page, sticking around the edge here to create that. Let's tuck that underneath, And I'm just going to stick these together so that they create the border. I've just been busy cutting out my bits and pieces from one of the embellishment kits here, sets. I've got some sticky foam tape and I'm going to stick on the bits and pieces that I've cut out. When you print them off yourself, you can obviously choose the size that you print them off and also what you print them off on. This is just what came in the kit, which is just paper. That's good enough for what I'm using, but you could print them off onto obviously different types of card, texture card, even vellum. It's entirely up to you. I like sticking them on with the 3D foam tape. It just makes them pop from the page, gives them that extra bit of height, and rather than looking like a flat piece of paper, it just gives them a bit more life. So I am going to stick them on top of the to-do list, pointing towards my daughter. And then I am going to list on the to-do side everything that she wanted to do on her 17th birthday. I've done the journaling and now I'm just going to stamp out the number 17. I've got this, I'm sure this was, oh gosh, do you know, it could be Cocoa Daisy, but then again it could have been Studio Calico. I'm really sorry, I don't remember. I've got a feeling it was Studio Calico actually, the stamp kit. It's quite an old kit, but I've put on the numbers 17. Always double check when you're stamping and you're putting things on the correct way that you've got them on the correct way. I was very nearly doing a layout about Holly's 71st birthday rather than her 17th, so double check all the time. It's easily done. So I'm just going to randomly use the number 17 all over here, as obviously we were celebrating my baby's 17th birthday, which really doesn't seem possible, as it doesn't seem long ago that I was celebrating my own 17th birthday, but it was actually a very long time ago. There we go. I am going to leave it at that. I am not going to go too crazy. And the other thing I wanted to do, I have a stencil here, a pan pastel green pastel and a sponge, and I'm just going to add a few little daisies or whatever you want to call them on my page. If you don't like them, the great thing about this is that they do rub off. Let's have half of one there. Yeah, you can just use an eraser and they come off really easily, which works out great because I'm quite a messy scrapbooker, as you can probably see. Okay, I didn't want to go too over the top, just a few here and there. And that's done. I do like the colour and I do like layers. Oh, one last thing I nearly forgot. I had painted those flowers. Let's grab those. I ended up doing both sides and I was just going to slot them in. Let's add some glue to the back and they can slide. I'm going to put one there and the other at the top there. Still a little bit wet. That's there. Okay, and I also, these are still wet. The kit comes with some very rustic frayed silk flowers, which I really love. So I was going to pop one of those on there. And no, I'm not going to add that one as well. I think that's too much. I'm just going to pop that one on there. It needs to dry. Should I put that? Yep. And I've also got this little resin rose which comes with the kit, which can go on there. Let's turn that round. Which way do I want it? Like that, I think. That's that. So that's my finished layout, celebrating Holly's 17th birthday even, and using the July Lollipop Box Club kit. I will take some close-up photos for you to have a look. Any questions, please do ask, and underneath I will leave the link to the products. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.